I paid for his green card with my blood and sweat, only for him to tell the judge I was too old to be his wife anymore. You won't believe what happened next. Before I continue, my dear friends, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button, like, and share this video with your loved ones. Your support means the world to me. Thank you so much. I didn't want to post this. My sisters told me, Florence, keep it private. But then I thought, how many other women are out there right now, working double shifts at a nursing home, sending money to a man who is planning to dump them the moment he gets his green card? I'm 38 now, and I've learned that the person you take a bullet for is often the one holding the gun. Let's talk. If you know Port Harcourt, then you know it's a city of hustle. I was a young nursing student at the university. My life was simple. My books, my church, and my dreams. Then I met Stanley. He was in the law faculty. Smart, eloquent, and he had this way of looking at me like I was the only woman in the world. We started as friends, but soon he became my oxygen. My parents weren't millionaires. My father was a retired civil servant. We had one big piece of land, our family's insurance policy. But my dream was always the USA. One evening my father called a family meeting. He looked at me and said, Florence, we are selling the land. It's for your future. Cried that night. I knew that land was all we had. I promised myself I would make them proud. And I promised Stanley I would come back for him. The first 2 years in America were a nightmare. I was a student working as a CNA, nursing assistant, cleaning up after people, working through the night, then going to class at 8 a.m. Every cent I made, I split it. Half for my rent, half for Stanley. He was struggling in Nigeria. He couldn't find a job. He'd tell me, Florence, I'm hungry. Florence, my shoes are torn. I'd send $200 and eat ramen noodles for a week. That was the depth of my love. After I got my RN license, the money started coming. I was so excited. I called him. Honey, I'm making good money now. And that's when he popped the question. Florence, come home. Let's marry. I can't wait anymore. I was so blinded. I didn't see it as him wanting a ticket out. I saw it as a man who missed his woman. I took all my savings and flew back to PH. We had the wedding. It was loud. People were saying, Florence has made it. She brought dollars. Stanley was shining. He looked so proud. We did the traditional rites and the church wedding. My parents were so happy. I felt like the queen of the world. But looking back, I remember the way he talked about the US. He wasn't asking about my life. He was asking about the opportunities and the luxury cars. I came back to the States and started the filing. My people, the US immigration system is not a joke. The fees, the lawyers, the medical exams. It cost me thousands. I called Stanley. Honey, please, even if you can borrow a little from your brothers to help with the filing fee. He got angry. So you want me to go into debt? Is this how you want to start our marriage? I felt guilty. I apologized and took a 16-hour shift at the hospital to cover it. I was working myself to death for his signature. The day Stanley landed in the US, I thought our struggle was over. I had a 2-bedroom apartment ready. I bought him a whole new wardrobe. I even had a steak dinner waiting. But he didn't say, thank you for your hard work. He looked around and said, is this it? This apartment is small for a lawyer. I told him, Stanley, while you study for your bar exams, why don't you get a job at the Amazon warehouse? They pay well. He looked at me with pure disgust. Me, a lawyer, carry boxes. Florence, don't insult me. I will stay home and study. So, for months I worked while he stayed home, played video games and studied for maybe 1 hour a day. I was paying for everything, his phone, his gym, his food. God blessed us. Trevor was born, then Brenda. My beautiful children. But having kids made me realize how lazy Stanley was. I'd come home from a 12-hour shift at the hospital, and the sink would be full of dishes. He'd say, I was busy reading law. I was breastfeeding, cooking, cleaning, and working. I was aging fast, and he was looking fresher every day because he had no stress. Finally, Stanley passed a certification and got a job with a big firm. His salary was huge. $120,000 a year. I was so happy. I said, "Praise God. Now we can pay off the credit cards I used to bring you here." But Stanley had other plans. He didn't pay 1 cent toward our debt. Instead, he bought a $60,000 BMW. He told me, "A lawyer must look the part." Let me tell you about the friends Stanley started keeping. There was one guy named Chitty. Chitty was also a big boy lawyer, but he had already divorced 2 wives. These were the men Stanley was looking up to. I remember one Friday I made a special dinner, coconut rice and fried fish, Stanley's favorite. I waited until 10 p.m. I called him and I could hear loud music and women laughing in the background. I heard Chitty's voice in the background saying, "Stanley, hang up that phone. Why is your old nurse calling you to check your time? Are you a baby? And do you know what my husband did?" He laughed. He didn't defend me. He told them, "Don't mind her, she's just stressed from the hospital." I sat at that dining table and cried into my plate. I realized then that Stanley was ashamed of the very woman who bought the shoes on his feet. He wanted to be a bachelor again, but with a wife at home to cook his meals and wash his clothes. People, let me tell you about my life. There was a night in January. It was freezing cold, snowing outside. I was working a double shift because I wanted to save extra money for Trevor's birthday and Stanley's bar association fees. At 4 a.m. my legs were shaking. I was so tired I could barely stand. I went into the break room for 5 minutes and checked my home camera on my phone. I saw Stanley. He wasn't studying. He was sitting on the sofa, drinking expensive wine I bought, and talking to someone on a video call, smiling and blowing kisses. I had to wipe my tears, put on my mask, and go back to a patient who was screaming at me. I was being treated like a servant at work and like a ghost at home. I stayed because of the kids. I stayed because I remembered my father's land. I didn't want to fail. One day, I was cleaning the BMW, the car I helped him get. I found a receipt under the seat. It was for a jewelry store. $1,200 for a diamond bracelet. My heart jumped. I thought, "Oh, Stanley is finally coming back to me. He bought this for my birthday." Waited. My birthday came. Do you know what he gave me? Nothing. Not even a card. He told me he was too busy with a case. 2 days later I saw a photo on Instagram. It was a young girl, maybe 22 years old. She posted a photo of her wrist with that exact bracelet. The caption said, "Gift from my favorite lawyer." He says his wife is an old cargo, and I am his new Ferrari. My people, I felt like someone had stabbed me in the chest. Old cargo. Me. The woman who sold her soul to give him a future. I went to my war room. I cried until my eyes were red. God, remember my parents' land. Remember the shifts I worked. Change this man. But the more I prayed, the more arrogant Stanley became. He started telling the kids, "Your mom is always tired and grumpy. Look at her clothes. She doesn't look like a lawyer's wife." On our anniversary, I cooked his favorite meal. He walked in, didn't even look at the table and said, "I'm tired of the pretension, Florence. I want a divorce. I've already spoken to a lawyer, my colleague. I'm moving out." I asked him why. What did I do? He looked at my face that had dark circles from working night shifts to pay for his visa, and he said, "You're not sharp anymore. Your body is gone. You look like my mother. I need someone who makes me look good at firm parties. You've served your purpose, Florence. Thanks for the green card." He thought he was the smartest man in the world. In court, he tried to argue that since he was the high earner, he should keep the house. He actually told the judge, "Your Honor, she is just a nurse. She can live in a small apartment. I need the house for my professional image. Plus, she's aged so much, she's probably losing her mind." The judge was a woman in her 60s. She sat there, looking at Stanley over her glasses. She asked me, Mrs. Stanley, do you have any records? Pulled out my folder. I had every receipt. Every wire transfer to Nigeria. Every credit card statement showing I paid for his bar exam. Every bank statement showing I paid the mortgage alone for 3 years. When Stanley tried to say I was too old for him, the judge actually laughed. She said, "Mr. Stanley, you are 40. Your wife is 38. If she looks old to you, it's because she has been carrying your weight on her shoulders for 10 years. You didn't come here to be a lawyer. You came here to be a parasite." The judge gave me the house. She gave me the cars. She ordered him to pay heavy child support. Stanley's face turned gray. He realized his lawyer tricks didn't work against the truth. I walked out of that court with my head held high. I went home, hugged Trevor and Brenda, and cried, not from sadness but from relief. 2 months later, Stanley lost his big job. Apparently, he was as lazy at the office as he was at home. His club friends disappeared the moment his BMW was repossessed. He was living in a basement apartment, eating the same ramen noodles I used to eat for him. One rainy Tuesday he showed up at my office. He was crying. "Florence, I was confused. The stress of the job made me crazy. I miss my family. Miss you. Please let's go to counseling. I know you still love me." I looked at him. I didn't feel anger. I just felt pity. I said, "Stanley, I have forgiven you because I don't want your poison in my soul. But my house, it's a home now. And there's no room in it for a man who only loves himself. Go and find that young shape you wanted. Goodbye." I called my father in Nigeria. I told him everything. He said, "Florence, we sold the land to give you a life, not a husband. If you have your life and your children, the land was worth it." That gave me so much peace. So, my YouTube family, please listen to me with your heart, not just your ears. Love can make you blind. Love can make you patient. Love can make you sacrifice. But love should never make you foolish. Never build a man from scratch if he has no foundation of his own. Helping a man grow is not a crime. But carrying a man who refuses to stand is a burden that will eventually break your back. If he has no vision, no discipline, no respect for himself, your love will not magically give him these things. You can pour water into an empty cup, but if the cup has holes, it will never stay full. Document everything. Love is spiritual, yes, but marriage is a legal contract. Prayers are powerful, but evidence is stronger in court. Trust is beautiful, but protection is wisdom. Do not let love silence your common sense. A woman who plans ahead is not wicked, she is wise. And please hear this clearly. Your value is not in your shape. Your value is not in your age. Your value is not in how long you stayed and endured pain. Your value is in your character, your integrity, your mind, your resilience, and your purpose. If a man uses you as a ladder to climb, do not be shocked when he tries to kick the ladder away once he reaches the top. Some people don't hate you. They hate the reminder of who they were before success came. When they rise, they try to erase the evidence of their past struggles. And sometimes that evidence is you. So choose wisely. Love deeply but think clearly. Support, but do not destroy yourself in the process. Because a real partner doesn't climb on you. They climb with you. Lesson. Love should add to your life, not erase you from it. Choose peace. Choose wisdom. Choose yourself. Thank you so much for watching this African tale. Tell me, where are you watching from? Please drop your thoughts in the comment section. I'd really love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring African stories. And always remember, love, faith, and courage are the greatest treasures you can ever have. God bless you all. Bye.